Okay, we are here at the Sony Online Entertainment booth. It's quite loud. We're with Merv here, and we're going to talk about Dragon's Prophet. So Merv, real quick, just give me like your best elevator speech. What is Dragon's Prophet about?
Sure. Dragon's Prophet is an action combat MMO where players can ride, capture, and train along with fighting alongside of 400 different species of unique dragons.
Perfect. That was quick. Elevator speech. Now, a big part of the game is training dragons, like raising dragons. How did that kind of? Why is it all about dragons?
So, I mean, I guess historically people like dragons, and I know I personally like dragons. So, throughout the game, you basically travel through all of the world locations and find these dragons that can be rare or common. And some of the rare dragons are really cool looking and have neat abilities. Your character actually gains the abilities of the dragons that you find, and they're kind of random. So, it incents the player to fly around the world and find dragons that suit their play style, and then they can use them in combat with them.
And every enemy in the game, every mob is some sort of dragon, right? The backstory is, what was it, like aliens bred with dragons?
Nice. So basically the backstory is there were two great dragons that are responsible for creating the world, and they came to a struggle where they disagreed with each other. And one of the good dragons created the race that the players play. The players have dragon blood in it. And the other dragon, the bad one, his name is Kronos. He's known as a devouring dragon. He basically eats other dragons and gains their abilities. His blood spread through the world and kind of created the prime antagonists. And they're creatures like Marauders or the evil Doom dragons. Those are basically spawned from Kronos. So the player fights against them. A lot of the creatures in the game are dragons, but some of them are also hybrid creatures that have Kronos' blood in them.
I did a press tour, and one of the interesting things was none of the dragons are exactly the same. It's not like there's a spawn point where a dragon spawns with the exact same abilities and exact same stats every time.
Yeah, we actually have 4 different main types of dragons. So the first one is a flyer. It's a traditional dragon that has wings. You can fly it around the world. We also have gliders, which kind of put their wings out, but they just kind of glide. I mean, true to their name. We have land dragons, and they can be very diverse. They can be kind of like a raptor-looking dragon or a dinosaur-looking dragon. And then we have an aqua dragon, which are our swimmers. They're kind of reptilian. They can go underwater. They're actually the only dragons that swim underwater. Everybody else is kind of scared of it, I guess.
So what is a big part of the game? Is there a lot of PvP, or is it more like open world environments? How does it kind of play out?
So we're really excited about PvP because that's what we're polishing for our commercial launch. We have something called a frontier system, which combines open world player housing with the PvP system. So the player actually places their house in the world with about 200 other players, and then that whole area is governed by one single player who's known as the Overlord, and he kind of sets the economy for all of those players who are involved. Now, if he's not really a fair ruler, you can kind of overthrow him with PvP content and take over his citadel.
How did he become the ruler? Is it through PvP?
Either through politics or through fighting for it.
Politics?
Because, if you're kind of that charismatic guild leader or you have a good reputation, you can probably convince a lot of people to support you in your overlord responsibilities.
So is there kind of like a voting system, and whoever has the most votes gets the top, or how does that? Is it like, oh, now I want to accept the main guild leader position?
I would say it's based around aggressive negotiation. So it's a voting system with your sword.
Voting system with your sword. Deadly. So, I mean, what is another? There's a lot of MMOs now. What is one of the main aspects that would have a player from another game want to try out Dragon's Prophet?
So I really think I have to come back to dragons. The dragons are really an extension of your character. You get them at a very early level. So every character in the game, not just a specific class, but every class can gain dragons at level 5. And you take those dragons on your quest with you through level 60. You can equip them with gear. You can level their abilities, you can cross-train their skills with other dragons, and then you can send them to supplement offline play, which is really kind of a neat notion. You can have your dragons in a lair, and they can be gathering wood for your trade skills or ore for your trade skills while you're offline. They can also be training their abilities while you're offline, so the next time you log in, you have all of their resources. So really the bond between the character and the dragon is a lot stronger than we've ever seen before in an MMO, and it really allows the players who like dragons to live out their MMO desires with them.
Interesting. Now, there's a couple games that we kind of talked to here at E3. They're incorporating an iPhone app or a mobile app. Since you do have offline play, have you ever thought about putting that part into a mobile app so you can always kind of adjust your dragons?
Yeah, I definitely have heard some talk about that sort of a thing, but we don't have any plans for that right now. It's pretty much just available on the PC.
Okay. Got it. Now, what's one of the main things you're here presenting at E3? Is this new zone? Is that?
Yeah. So the players currently can level from 1 through 60, and 60 is the level cap. They do so across 6 zones. So at E3, we've been showing a zone called Wintertide. It's basically the 7th zone. It allows players to level from 60 to 70 and also explore new content. The zone's kind of neat because it's set in a frosty area. It's a lot colder climate. We've not seen that before in Dragon's Prophet. The mobs are also higher level because the creatures are level 60 to 70. That's where the majority of the content sits. And they're large trolls and ogres and that sort of thing. And a lot of the landscapes are kind of wintry. It's pretty cool. I'd like to give you guys a look.
Yeah, let's take a look. Is that what we're looking at here? It looks like it. It's very wintry.
So this is Wintertide. You can see where I'm at right now. I'm in one of the main towns. And Wintertide tells the story of the Second Dragon War. That's what I mentioned earlier, where the 2 dragons fought against each other. They kind of did so in this general area. So you see the remains of a lot of the dragons here. This town specifically is built in the skeleton of one of the great dragons. So let me fly out here real quick, get a good look at the zone as I fly past it. But I turn around and you can actually see that the dragon's head is there, and it kind of follows its spine all the way around to its tail. And you see in the center of the area, one claw is coming out of the ice. And this is kind of the theme of the zone. The players get to discover what happened during those dragon wars and also participate in the struggles that are going on now between the trolls and the ogres. So I'm going to go to one other area for you real quick in Wintertide and show you kind of what the new adversaries the players will be fighting against look like.
That was a huge dragon.
It was a huge dragon, yeah, really cool looking.
Is there a story like how the dragon died, or just get caught in a landslide, avalanche?
So they basically the dragons fought against each other, and that's the result of it. A lot of them died during the war. A lot of the main ones died, so the players get to actually discover through the quest what exactly happened to them. This is another area. This is kind of where the player comes into the zone. You can see that this is a train that players can actually go inside of. I'll go inside it real quick, see if I can catch it before it leaves. So this train travels from zone to zone. The players board it in zone 6 and they arrive here. I'm going to jump off before it leaves. But this is Serpent's Watch, and this is where the players are introduced to Wintertide. And I'm going to fly through some of the landscape here so you can see it.
Yeah, let's take a look at the landscape.
I'm actually going to turn on a GM run ability here.
That's okay, we don't mind.
So you can see that some of the models that players have seen before, like these elks and deers, but they kind of have like a snowy demeanor towards them. Here we see an earth elemental, and he's kind of rocky. He looks snow-covered. Travel up here to one of the cities. This is actually a hostile NPC fort, so we can see some of the people who have taken up arms in one of the ruins of one of the dragon citadels, and they're kind of defending it there.
Cool, and this zone is live now?
This zone is not live. This zone is coming soon. The current cap in the game is up to level 60, and this will push the cap from 60 to 70. So this zone should be coming soon. It's going to happen probably around shortly after launch. And we're looking towards a end of summer launch currently.
End of summer launch.
Yep, but we're in open beta right now, and it's free to play at Dragon's Prophet the game. The download is about 6 gigs, and anybody can pretty much jump in and play through our content.
Well, thank you, Merv. We appreciate it. We can't wait to play Dragon's Prophet by the end of the year.
Awesome.
All right. Thank
Good
you.
talking to you.
Thanks.
Enjoy your show.